No doubt. Now, I'm conscious that Masha, you've spoken for a while. Alhamdulillah, it's been immensely important. And we are going to do another interview where this issue of marriage and divorce and seeking a partner we'll talk more about. Before we get onto that, you just want to briefly tell us, before we go into the Q&A, about your marriage course.
Oh yeah, so basically over the 10 years that I've been dealing with these cases, after a few years, what I felt was, wait a minute, why are we having divorce cases after a few months, after a few weeks, or after a few years? And I was starting to see common mistakes that people were making, and I actually still see them today. But the thing is, I thought, hold on, if I could give people these points, right? If I could present them and say, look, these are the common problems that people make on the path of finding a partner. And this is obviously, if you go into marriage with somebody who was probably not suited to you, then it becomes a lot more challenging to make it succeed. So the first step is to really claw that back to the beginning and actually work out what is the right type of person for you. If we can get that right, then the chances of marriage succeeding is better. And divorce, as you know, we've discussed this many times myself with you, the divorce rate has been going up steadily for many years. And like I said, if we don't get marriage right in the community, it will impact the entire community, the health of the community. So my impetus was that we need to decrease the divorce rate. And if we can prepare people better, prevention always is the best cure. If we can prevent divorce, then we've done a massive service to the community. So what I did was I put together a course. What I felt at that time was there were many marriage courses, marriage talks, but they're always very general. So you'd hear the same hadith: marry women for 4 reasons, for her wealth, for her beauty, for her status, her deen. And then I was like, but the thing was, I was coming across those people who had heard these hadith, but I hadn't actually helped them make the right decision or a good decision. So I thought, hold on, that's not enough. So what I did was, and then they would have these courses where single people were there, married people were there, and it just turned into a very general, kind of talk about marriage, a very general kind of thing. And I thought, no, what we need a tailor-made course just for single Muslims, right? So this category of people, we need to get them as well prepared for marriage as possible. So I did it's almost like an A to Z, right from the beginning, right? You're thinking of getting married. Why do you want to get married? Right? And you're like, well, is that not obvious? It's not obvious because I've met many people when I've asked them that question, they do not know why they want to get married, right? So the first thing is, I remember one person said, because my dad told me to do it, right? So I thought you better not get married right now. Let's come back, right? So right from the beginning of marriage, where do we place it? Is it obligatory upon you? Is it sunnah? All that. Converts, when should they get married, etc. Marrying a non-Muslim, so on. And then the whole process, istikhara, and even before you get to istikhara, like, how do you know that this person is the right person for you? How will you know? And then all the way through to making a decision, the engagement period, then the nikah, and then I have a section where I talk about the first years of marriage. What are the common pitfalls that people make, and I've seen people make. And then there's a Q&A session. So what I did was I taught that for many years, probably around about 20 times in total, different cities of the UK. But what happened was that people are getting married at all different times of the year, and I would possibly only do that once a year, and sometimes I'd miss it. So then I got to a point where I thought I'll put in an online format, and then people can access it whenever they want, all year round. So I made a website for myself, just my name, amerjamil.com. And then I now the course is the smaller version, which is like just a mini version, which is free, and then there's a paid version.
How long is the mini version?
The mini versions probably take you about an hour to get through. And it's just kind of going through kind of the basic steps, and then the paid one's about 6 hours with course notes, and it goes through step by step. And I've got a number of exercises that people have to do, and then there's also, I've picked 50 questions from over the years, like which I feel are the kind of common questions that people keep asking over and over again. And then there's, they can also keep asking, like if they've got questions, they keep asking questions, and I'll keep answering them over period.
I must admit, you sent me it recently, and I'm halfway through, and I will I will say, mashallah, I don't think there's anything like it. In that, generally what people do, and I've been guilty of this myself when I've attempted to try and explain this topic to the students, is that we normally go through the hadith, the 4 things that we look for in a marriage, or the 5, depending on which narration you, and we don't really go underneath and, okay, religion, what does religion mean here? Okay, akhlaq, what does that mean? And you go into issues where, issues of parents and the impact of parents on their children, and how you absorb some of their characteristics or some of their traits. And you go into issues like going and asking your siblings what are your good points and your bad points, and a variety of different things that I haven't seen anybody else really do. But the massively important issue of, you actually go to great lengths to get people to self-reflect, write down a list of into three categories, 3 groups of your what are the things that are essentials for you and your spouse, what are the things which are desirable, and what are the things which are the icing on the cake, so to speak. So, and you also get the person to self-reflect on themselves, what are the good points and bad points, and then from there you kind of direct it in a direction which saves a lot of time and a lot of headache, because the person now knows themselves what they're like, and then they know based on that what to look for. So they have like a list, and I think that's unique. I haven't seen anybody else do that.
Because see, the question of like you said, again, we give that hadith about marrying somebody, and you say marry a religious person, right? So I mean, what does that mean? Because most people say, okay, and then this is what happens. Young people say, Sheikh, I'm looking to get married. I say, okay, what are you looking for? I'm looking for a good sister. Like, what does that mean? Because all that means is you're not looking for a bad sister, right? So no one in the right mind says, Sheikh, I'm looking for a bad sister. Everyone says, I'm looking for a good sister. But what good means to you is different from what good means to another person. Because I don't know you, I don't know enough about you. So you have to explain to me what exactly you're looking for. And that's where people are stumped, because they don't know. You say, well, I'm looking for an honest person, someone with integrity, someone with respect. And then the next question is, who in the right mind is not going to look for those things? Right? So I'm still, even after that discussion, I'm still no clearer on what you're looking for. And that's when you realize people do not know what they're looking for. That's why they get into situations where they've seen 10, 15 people, and they're still like scratching their heads thinking, I'm not really sure, maybe, and you're like, what is happening here? And
you mentioned a person went through 60?
I know a person who went through 60 different people.
60, not 16.
60, yeah, 60 proposals. Because again, they don't know so that time that they just wasted 60 people, had they had a better idea in the beginning, didn't work, and then they would have been able to sift out who they should be looking for, who they're not. So that again, that was just that course, a culmination of not just obviously Islamic knowledge, but the cases that I've dealt with, so the things I've learned from the cases, real people's mistakes, and then also bringing in some stuff from kind of relationship quote unquote experts and so on. So I'm bringing like together like lots of different things into like one place.
MashaAllah, it is unique, I must say. I've yet to see anything of that caliber done yet, and just the amount of depth and the self-reflection you get people to think about. And it's true, most people do not know what to look for, and I think more importantly, and you hit the nail on the head, people do not know enough about themselves in order to pick who is best suited to me. That's quite important, alhamdulillah. But mashallah, this is a whole discussion in of itself, which we'll go into in another session, because it is I think where your heart is, alhamdulillah, and Allah's placed you in that role.